Greetings, loyal minions, beautiful humans. Welcome to the SciShow, the #1 ranked YouTube channel for people who try to protect bees. That's right, if that's you, I appreciate you. Limeboire is giving me some bee vibes, I don't really know why, but we are here to take a look at possibly the attempt of making a green Bearnadette. Possibly a little more attractive than Bearnadette. If you're into the wings and green hair. Those toes, though, I'm not sure I'd enjoy snuggling up to those toes. It might just be a little bit scratchy and freaky. We have a paladin, which gives the talent of Protect, which is nice if you're looking at using as a tank. A couple of these slow or very slow heroes lately have been great tanks, so that's looking good. They also have the Defense Up Aether talent, so between those, you're getting very, very good protection. We will turn it off. 1186 team power. Moth family being, I will just say, it's obviously from the Moth portal, the Alliance Quest portal. We'll have a quick look at the odds just to make sure nothing's changed. Legendary event hero 0.3%. Very low overall chance, but a 1% chance at the featured or one of the featured heroes. We also have the Hero of the Month available, Achilles. Go check out my musical review on Achilles if you haven't already. Bit of fun. So there's some other good heroes available. The Moths are almost becoming the meta at the moment with the Moth Dust on defense. It gets very, very annoying very quickly. And it's something that I find hard to notice sometimes. So the bonus is for 1, 2, or 3 heroes, we get Moth Dust. Minus 30% mana generation. If Moth Dust is cleansed or removed, the target falls asleep and receives 80% damage. Plus 80% increased damage while sleeping. Not sure why it says 1, 2, 3 heroes there and doesn't give anything different for 1, 2, or 3. Not sure. I don't think that was like that before. Anyway, if something's changed, I apologise if I've missed that. Also has a dodge passive, 15% chance to dodge special skills that deal damage, so that's really handy. But yeah, the minus 30% mana generation. I thought the amount of heroes changed the percentage chance of that being applied, but I might be missing something there. Let's just have a quick look at. Anyway, ignore me. I'm an absolute idiot. As you all know, you wouldn't be watching otherwise. Good all-around stats, very nice HP, good defense, which, as I mentioned, if we're using as a tank, is going to come in very handy. 1200 attack. The special skill running at very slow is called Dozy Mead. We're dealing 260% damage to all enemies. All enemies fall into deep sleep and receive plus 80% increased damage while in deep sleep. So it's the same as the passive, and we know how annoying it is when you're just rolling along. All of a sudden, the Moth Dust is removed or cleansed, and bang, you're asleep and you don't know what happened. Character in deep sleep cannot gain mana or attack. Character in deep sleep is woken once it takes 500 damage, and it is uncleansable. So very annoying. You have to take 500 damage. I'll get to that later in ways that I would see how she can be used. Steals all dispellable buffs from the target and randomly distributes them on allies. So that's interesting how it damages all enemies. All enemies fall into sleep, but then it only says the target. So it only steals the dispellable buffs from the target, I'm presuming, that you click on. If anyone out there has played in beta, and no, I mean, the wording is usually correct. So it would generally say steals all dispellable buffs from all enemies. So I would say it to anyone. And the caster gains 3% mana for each stolen buff up to a maximum of 30% mana. It would be weird for one hero to have 10 buffs. It is possible. So that's the only thing I'm not... I mean, it seems very clear. It says steals dispellable buffs from the target. But I don't know if it's hitting all. Are they all target? Again, the wording is slightly different than normal, so that's the only reason I'm focusing on that. Okay, so very good hero. As I said, I think it's a bit of an attempt to make a Bearnadette type hero that once she goes off, everyone else is useless. The huge difference between Limeboire and Bearnadette, apart from one being a moth and one being a granny, which probably isn't all that different. Well, it's interesting because quite often, I don't want to break the internet or get cancelled, but old people smell like mothballs a lot. No offense to anyone. If you're an old person, I appreciate you. I don't even know what old is, but anyhow, moving on. The huge difference is Bearnadette dispels before she applies the painting, whereas Limeboire is stealing the dispellable buffs, whether it's from one or all, but it's after the deep sleep. So if you have protection up, that deep sleep is not going to hit. That's the big difference. Apart from that, now that's a huge difference because that's what makes Bearnadette so dangerous. Now I'm just going to have a quick little comparison of Bearnadette in regards to everything else. So Bearnadette's doing 250% damage, so it's slightly smaller. All enemies get the cursed painting, and we know the crap that does. But with the dispelling buffs straight up, you're also taking down any defense downs or anything like that. So there's a chance you're going to do a bit more damage. Whereas Limeboire, I'm probably saying that totally wrong. Lime being green sounds about right. As she's not removing those buffs straight up, if you've got a defense up buff or something like that, then the damage is probably going to be very similar to what Bearnadette would do. However, if you do have any sort of protection, and there are a lot of heroes out there now that give pretty quick protection, considering the hero is very slow, or you can also use someone like a Chang'e who will stop her casting it because she's not cleansing herself first or anything. So I think that's a huge difference, and it's going to make that there's so many heroes out there that you can get that fast protection from, which I think will mean Limeboire is going to be a lot more used on offense than defense. She's still going to be handy on defense. We know with Bearnadette and Fergus, even with the slower heroes, as long as they have a really powerful special, if you get a bad board, they can still really punish you. If the board is quite slow, I don't really like using the term bad board, but if it's a slow board at certain times, and they do go off before you get your protection up, then it can be close to game over. So in this one, how I like to use the sleep, and I mentioned this with Teddy in the recent Soul Exchange, is especially on offense, if you're taking Limeboire on offense, you take it against a team that's not going to have protection, you put them all to sleep. Then for me, I want to keep them asleep. So what I would do, I would pair Limeboire with other heroes that are hit threes or snipers at the most, like sniper or hit three at the most, because then you can focus all your tiles and all your attacks on one side whilst you're leaving, or even just one hero if you're talking snipers, whilst you're leaving the rest of the enemies asleep and they just not doing anything. So hits from minions and mega minions, etc., doesn't wake them up. Doesn't actually say that here, but that is with. Oh no, sorry, it does because it's based on the damage. So as long as so that's a reason not to pair with minions and mega minions because you don't want the enemies to be taking damage. So yeah, in that case, pair it with the snipers. No minions or mega minions. Focus your attacks on one side of the board or one enemy. Take them out, pick them off one by one, whilst the rest of them just sleep. Because as long as you don't damage them, they're just going to sleep forever. They've had that poison apple until the prince comes along and gives them a big smooch. They're just going to sit there sleeping. No princes around here, so yeah, that's how I would be using. I'm sure we will see her on defense, even though you can block. the Moth Dust itself. So now we get 3 or 4 of these Moth heroes on a defense team, that Moth Dust is going to be an absolute pain in the buttocks. So yeah, very good hero. Being very slow might scare a few people off. They have come into the meta more and more with those really powerful skills. But if you are doing any summons, best of luck to you. Hope you get the hero you're after. If you enjoy what I'm doing, please remember to gently press the subscribe button. Give your kitty a scritch for me. Have a bloody good one.